right, welcome everyone. It is 7 o'clock, June 4th. I'm calling to order our regular scheduled meeting, inland wetlands meeting, and we're going to start with the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so I'll go like everyone's names. Phyllis Berger, we have Phyllis Berger, Len Salter, Ryan Williams, I'm Kristen Chantrell, Don Finnister. We're seated Tom Kalal tonight as an alternate. John Filchek is in the audience. Gary Gaishel's here, and Sue Spang. John, do you want to come join us? We've got an open seat. Come on up.
If you wish.
Sure.
It's a trap, don't do it.
Come on over.
Have you heard of FOIA?
So do I need to discuss the additions to the agenda to the meeting?
Do you have an addition beyond this?
No.
No.
Hi, John. I'm Tom Kalal.
Good to meet you, Tom.
Okay,
I'm an
so
alternate too.
I
know.
Previous agendas left off. Put it there, so should anyone.
Oh, that's right.
Add, you can now add.
Does anyone have any additions to the agenda?
In addition to the addition.
Okay. All right, moving on. Public delegations is the time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission about certain matters, issues or concerns related to approved wetland permits and in-house proposals, or general topics of discussion are open to comment. Agenda items, referrals, applications subject to a decision by the commission, a public hearing, or in litigation may not be discussed. The members of the commission will not directly answer questions or make comments during delegations. Do I have anyone here today for public delegation? Okay. No public hearings today. Moving on to the acceptance of the regular meeting minutes of May 7th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
Make a motion, accept the minutes last week.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone object?
I abstain because I wasn't here.
Abstain?
Yeah.
We have 2 abstaining. Okay.
I abstain.
3 abstaining. Ex officio report, Ann?
Hi, Ann Chichello from the Board of Selectmen. So, let's see, May 14th, we had a Board of Selectmen meeting, and at that meeting, we had the short-term rental subcommittee co-chairs, Ann Chantoro and Gary Chichello, present. Basically, kind of like the halfway mark, like summary of what's been going on with the short-term rental committee. Also, Gary Ferrugia was also there, and he also spoke. And basically what they presented was the pros and cons of the short-term rentals, and the bottom line is they're still waiting for the Whitby case to be determined by the court. It was presented to the Supreme Court and argued on March 27th, and we're just waiting for that decision to come out because if it could impact whatever decisions would be made by the Board of Selectmen. And we don't want to make any decisions, then have everything be invalidated.
Mm-hmm.
There was the referendum on the budget on May 23rd, and that passed. That was an increase of, I think, 1.48 mils. Also, today, I noticed in the day that East Lyme was granted a state grant of $36,300 from the State Bond Commission for the planning and design of Darrow Pond Outdoor Education, Conservation, and Recreation Center. So I think I was encouraged and happy to see that.
I would just know our grant application was for $490,000.
490,000. Okay.
36 for planning and design.
Okay.
It's a start.
Yeah, they had, I guess, like $10 million that they were separating between 5 different towns, and I guess that's what East Lyme got.
Better than nothing.
I don't, in the paper, I thought it said 5, maybe 5 were awarded. I don't know who applied, but there was, yeah, that's what they said in the paper. So I don't know, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, Great, thank you.
Thanks, Anne.
Sure.
Moving on to new business. The application 15 Green Valley Lake Road, Brian Hoffman, applicant and owner, application for determination of permitted non-regulated activity to reduce an existing deck and add cascading stairs. I'm going to recuse myself for this application. Don's going to take over.
Okay.
Do I have to say
Okay, Gary.
Gary, is the date of receipt incorrect because it shows June 5th
Yes.
tomorrow?
Yes, it was received yesterday. Today was the actual official date of receipt.
So it's actually June 4th?
June 3rd is when we brought this was received in our office.
Okay.
So tonight
Oh, I see.
is the actual date of receipt. Official date of receipt.
Tonight?
Yes.
So it's June 4th?
So here's a description of work. Mr. Hoffman is here to explain his request if they have any questions. He's looking to reconstruct the existing deck, which currently wraps around his porch, runs across the back of the porch. What we'd like to do is create wraparound cascading steps. So at the end of the day, the entire deck is getting reduced in size. Down. The area in yellow is the existing deck. He'd like to reduce it to the area in green, and requires him to just install 2 footings on these corners near the existing header, which is the home. Based on its proximity to the
That's, yeah.
wetlands, the water course, in my opinion, that would not require a permit, but it was within the 300-foot upland view area. So this commission has the discretion to render a decision as to whether or not he's required to get a permit for the installation and construction of a shed, that was the deck, and or not. What I'll do is maybe to help
Green Valley. Oh, cool.
Yeah, the 2019 map and the 2016 area.
Yeah.
I find the 16 is a little easier to read. This is a little more grainy. Here you can see there's a house and this tree right here currently blocks the view of the deck in this photo. The 2016 aerial, it's a little cleaner. You can see the edge of the water a little better here. Just using my little measure tool, I go to the property line and edge of water.
You see 300 feet.
There, you're nearly 202 feet to the back of the house.
Do we have any discussion about this, you guys? Any concerns? We ready to make a decision?
Did you say the owner of the property is available tonight? Or?
Yes, Mr. Hoffman, the audience.
Could we hear a few words from him?
And Gary, you said it was nearly 200 feet from what?
The edge of water, I think the tool here from the property line where it meets the edge of water to the house is roughly 200 to 240 feet. So it's 200 feet from the existing home.
So making a smaller deck, just adding some stairs.
Correct. Yeah, within the existing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking to reduce the deck, do like a little 5x8 pad outside the sliding glass door, and then do like 3 sides of stairs that come up to the house.
Sounds good.
Couple footing, 2 footings, and yeah, use the existing joists and connection to the house, just reduce it.
That's pretty succinct.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was waiting for him to ask him anything. Okay.
I'm ready to decide. Are you guys ready
Yeah,
to decide?
I think we're ready. You guys,
We
all
done
in favor for Mr. Hoffman's bill
By
here?
motion?
Yeah, you should-
Make a motion.
You need a motion
Okay.
to determine that it isn't
It's not.
non-regulated activity.
I put forward a motion for him to not need a permit.
So you have a motion to find the proposal is non-regulated.
That's totally what I said.
May I have a second to find the,
I'll second that.
there we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. We have-
I did, Ryan Williams.
You stay in the rest of the meeting, or you're through?
You're all set. Thank you.
Yes.
How much does this cost him?
Missed out.
Pretty painless.
Okay, next is the pending applications, 50 Gurley Road, James Bernardo LS, applicant Douglas Hoagland, owner, application to construct a single-family dwelling and associated appurtenances within 300 feet of an inland wetlands and watercourse.
So, this is still pending, some investigatory work, I guess we have the land surveyor, James Bernardo, he did identify 3 potential owners, of the right of way, so we're basically waiting on Newington DOT to probably give us an answer, as to whether or not they have issues with the driveway and any portion of that they may have interest in. So until that actually gets finalized, there's really going to be no movement on this application. I did advise the applicant that they could withdraw and pursuant to the regulations, so there's a section that they could request a reapplication to waive.
Mhm.
If we don't know how long it will take. I have not got a confirmation whether or not they're going to withdraw. So that being said, the date of extension time is June 15th, to continue the public hearing. If that's upon us, we don't meet again until after that. I'm going to recommend that the commission close the public hearing. I'm sorry. I'm close.
Yeah.
Deny the application without prejudice.
Yeah, because if he doesn't do anything by 6:15,
We would have to have a special meeting
Yeah.
in order to render a decision. That said, if we don't render a decision, the application is not automatically approved because it is an inland wetland application. It's pursuant to the statutes. However, there would be on an appeal, if we use that
right.
in the appeal as part of the argument that you render a decision. Pursuant to the statute. So, as such, I'm going to suggest that you take action on the application.
Mm-hmm. Do I hear a motion from anybody?
I
Deny.
make,
Sorry, go ahead.
I make a motion that we deny this without prejudice.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Is that everyone? Okay. All right, I'm sure you'll convey why we made our decision. Okay, next, under old business is the inland wetland watercourse regulations, review of the proposed draft revisions. Does everyone have a copy? Phyllis, you weren't here do you have it last month?
No, I was here.
You were here last month? Was it the month before?
Um,
There was one, I wasn't sure if you got the updated copy,
I got it last
the
month.
red lines. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I was not here last month.
Yeah, I was not either.
okay. So Gary went through and redlined, this would be the released
I have an extra copy. if
Oh, you
like.
do? Okay.
regulations that
Thank
we
you.
would then go to public hearing for. So I don't know if anyone has any additional comments from last month to this.
We talked last month about putting in, referencing native plantings.
Oh, right.
You know, Gary, I looked through the zoning regulations. I couldn't find anything that stated anything about native plantings. Have you seen it in there?
It should have been updated.
Because I figured we could use the same wording that they have.
Yeah, you're right. I think I looked too and I didn't see, I did a search for native and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
That's because, right. I don't think the updated was on here.
No, I don't even see. It was 2023. It was like 2024 stuff.
Yeah, right.
So edition.
We'll let Bill know that we need to get the update on there, but I'm sure
Not the new one as well.
He might have access.
Yeah, it should be under materials.
Exactly. Yeah, he might have access.
It was in the winter sometime.
Yeah, like maybe November? I think.
Well, that's when I looked here, this one goes 12/15/23, Planet Village Design Review,
Right.
landscape and planting, oh, right there, 12, page 130.
Ah, there you go.
That's funny. Going through doors.
Yeah.
That's the third page.
You didn't click it, it goes right to there.
Mhm.
Just find it.
Is it? Right there.
One more. One more up.
Landscaping.
I think it's in section
Right
1.
here, the buffer area will contain evergreen plantings, so they specified there, evergreens in particular.
But it doesn't say native. though. There was something that said native.
I could have sworn it was in section 1.
Yeah.
Where we just
My eyes are
Further up.
Control F.
I was just going to say, good.
Natural features. Non-native and okay, there you go.
Number 1, yeah, 1 and 2, 1.1, I think here was added, non-native invasive and invasive plant species. Weather shall not be used
Of course.
in the landscaping plan for any new development. Or redevelopment property under these regulations. So we can add something like that.
Okay, but I think the point was that says non-native, invasive, and plants shall not be used.
Correct.
But they should be planting native plants.
Correct. So if they were non-native,
It's implied.
so you could say non-native, I mean, you could use this language and add that, or just say they shall be all.
All
native
plantings shall be native to the area. I don't know.
to England.
Yeah, I guess, broad sense.
Can you scroll down just a little bit? I thought I saw something about local fauna. Wait.
Native plants shall be used in
Yeah,
all
there you go.
landscape
There you go, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Point.
Good.
Page 185, 186.
186, yeah.
Oh,
So do you think this would be applicable under the Section 7 application requirements section?
I think that's where you
Maybe.
put it. Required for any site development.
Mm-hmm.
Probably put it in that,
There isn't a DEEP native plant guide that could be referenced, is there?
I would probably include it as part of 7.6. So all applications shall include the following information in writing on maps and drawings. And then, maybe you can add that as it would be QR, so go from there.
Oh, so section, oh, 7.
7.6, the next.
Oh, there's 2 7.6s.
There are.
Yeah. There's one on page 14 and one on page 16. You gotta do your number. Oh, no.
This is to review it. Well, because that's section 7's like in this is.
Unless you can do 7.4A and B.
Well, or like 7.77, 7.71, 7.6.
Yeah.
To put like an additional
Yeah, sorry, I know it's such a pain to do.
Good catch.
the motion.
See, 7.7 is going to need to be 7.8.
Yep.
Okay. So I would still say this probably best fit under 7.6.
Okay, the 7.6 in green.
So what page is that?
16?
14.
Oh, sorry.
14, okay.
Well, yeah, you're right. So it'd be on page 16, it would be
That's right.
the new letter R. Yeah.
We can add that language in there. You can add it in section. I mean, you can add it as its own section if you wanted to.
I don't know. I think I kind of like it as R.
So we want to add that whole,
Yeah.
do we need that landscape standards purpose section, or just want to add?
Oh,
No, I think just the natural features.
Right.
What do you think, Phyllis?
Yeah, that's fine.
1.1. Or go to U. Or the U and
So then the other thing that we discussed last meeting was a potential fee scale.
correct. Most likely we'll have to propose revising the fee schedule.
Oh, right. Don't we have to do that through?
Ordinance.
That's okay. Okay.
So that might be a subsequent process that will take up, being that Miles Hinckley is our intern, so we're paying for it. So maybe while he's here, take advantage of that and have him maybe start looking at putting numbers together where Sam has kind of left off and come up with a fee schedule close to close.
Okay.
What about fines? You know, I think since I've been here all these years, I don't think anybody has ever been fined
We
that I
did
can recall.
find Mr. Barbero.
Oh,
He was the gentleman on the little Indian pond there. He was the only person we
yeah.
fined thus far.
And that's in 10 years.
In 10 years, yes. I mean, certainly we can use it. I can certainly start issuing more fines, and if they're smaller from the agent. Maybe that's appropriate.
I have a tendency to think that some people think they can do something and then beg forgiveness afterwards.
Mhm.
And we've let things slide sometimes where it's been, well, to correct it is worse for the environment. And, you know, I think we really have to step up our enforcement.
It might, what's not in here is that ordinance. And so maybe we should add it as an appendix. Just define our ability to do that. I mean, it's not included in the document as a reference.
I mean, would you put a period of time as far as how long you would, you know, work with the individual?
Well, the ordinance doesn't specify. It just says if they are in violation,
Says when you pay it.
fine. I think there's some discretion that's exercised on behalf of the agent and the agency in determining, you know, whether or not to fine someone. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, in terms of, say, the solar farm is a good example. That went on for a while. They actively were in here at every meeting telling us that they were trying to make progress, right? Whether they were or not, it doesn't seem like they were. It was taking forever. So in those cases, I mean, maybe they warranted a fine. Would that have changed the outcome? I don't know. But certainly for the duration that went on, and the amount of time that staff had to spend that we weren't getting any compensation for, certainly the fine would have been appropriate just to cover my costs, right?
Well, how does zoning do it? Does zoning issue fines more frequently?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
No. So they just issue orders, and then we go right to injunctions. So that's the same process here, as if we don't get compliance with the order, we can issue the injunction. Usually we get some sort of compliance, and the respondent is in before us. So when we enter into that dialogue, that's where we're kind of stuck to get it resolved. We at least have the leverage to get it resolved. We can continue to press on that. Eventually, if they're making no progress, we can ask, you know, hey, we want an injunction, town attorney would write up and file such. That would be the process. But I would recommend that maybe putting that page in here as an appendix, just so people are aware of the fines.
Yeah, can you modify Appendix D to say fees and fines, or do you want to keep it as a whole separate appendix?
Make an appendix.
E? Okay.
I just have a quick question. If somebody, if you do get an injunction, who pays the attorney's fees for the injunction?
So the town's on the hook initially for paying it all. When we get to court, we do ask for those fees. Typically, they're not awarded to the town. So while we ask for them each and every time, they're usually not awarded.
So maybe a fine
So-
would help,
Legal
you
expense.
know, with that.
What authority does a fine emanate from? What gives us the right to do that?
We have, several years back, the town passed a town ordinance that allowed the agency to fine individuals who violate the regulations, or in Rutland water course fill it, or somehow adversely impact it. So if they were in violation of our regulations, we could have the authority to fine them up to $1,000 for each violation. So in the case of, say, Mr. Barbero, we fined him the full amount, $3,000 for 3 different infractions. There is a hearing officer that the town has. He can appeal that. Go to the hearing officer. The hearing officer can either require him to pay the full amount or reduce it. And then upon that decision, he has up to 1 year. That individual would have up to 1 year to pay the fine. So in his case, he did pay $1,000.
Understand. Well, as an option, could we just refer to that within this document? And if we want fines and so forth, in accordance with?
Yeah, I think by adding the ordinance as
Mhm.
Appendix E,
Gives a little strength to it.
Yeah,
it certainly at least alerts the public that, oh, by the way,
Right, right,
yeah,
fine for
right.
Yeah.
right.
infraction.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Can you take a fine out of a bond?
Oh, no.
No.
No,
That's a legal thing.
But you can determine that the bond should not be repaid in full,
Right.
Released.
released.
You would withhold a portion of it for what purpose? Bond usually is for erosion sedimentation control measures or some sort of public improvement or zoning for these site improvements. So if that's what your bond's covering, if it's restoration work, maybe planting, that's what it covers. So you couldn't withhold any of that if they completed that work.
Yeah, so if the infraction is a part of that work, you could hold the bond, but
You
if
could
it's
not release the
outside
bond
of that,
until they fix the violation.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Then if they failed to fix the violation, I would think that the town could use the bond to restore the area to a
Mhm.
minimum. That's the purpose. So if they fail to do
Mhm.
what they said they were going to do, yeah, we could call the bond.
Okay. Anything else on the regulations?
So my only question was the 300-foot versus, you had mentioned, as I always suggested, reading these in the context of 100 feet, I think, and I suggested possibly 150 feet. Either way, we enforce the regulations as they are. So I think the thought is, in the cases like you just saw at 15 Lakes, reduction in the footprint 200 feet away. But all of those applications will now come before this commission in order to get those determinations. That's the only way I can legally and correctly do it. So
Do
if
some of them
increase-
fall under the minor,
So under these regulations, I do think that would be a minor activity.
and that
He
would be up for your
required-
determination?
Well, he would be required to get a permit from me
Mhm.
under this. Could I determine no permits required? I don't believe so. So we may want to consider revising that section. I believe it's in 9.
Yeah, because again, we don't want to be a burden to the homeowners. We're really looking at these large-scale developments that we want to capture. So I don't want to deter from the 300 feet, but I don't want every little person to have to come to us.
So that's where the breaking the permit into different thresholds kind of say, hey, this goes to Gary, this would go to the commission. In section 12, it basically the agency can delegate authority to the agent to approve or extend a license for an activity that's not located in a wetland or water course. When I make certain findings that the activity will result in no greater than minimal impact on any wetlands or water course. So in that case, I can do that with something small like this deck. But the authority is to approve or extend, not deny, not determine, does not require. So I would just say, you need a permit, here it is, go build your thing. So it would generate some revenue in that way, under that. But I don't think it's completely clear. So as to whether or not I can make that determination, there's no permit required. So I think it's clear that I have to require. So in those instances, though, when the permit really isn't necessarily required, yet we're going to make our residents pay the fee. That's where I think we can somehow edit this section a little bit to say, for minor regulated activities, the agent may determine permits are not required.
Mhm.
For those activities that would fall under intermediate or significant regulated activity, that in order for a determination, they have to come before this agency.
Yeah.
So we could come up with some language like that.
Mhm.
But
I think
it's so subjective.
Yeah.
What's a minor to one person is something else to somebody else. Or a neighbor who's going to have a shed in their way or a deck or whatever.
Well, then I would point back to
it's page 6, a minor regulated activity is defined, no greater than a minimal impact on any wetland or water course, no septic installation activity required, requiring the deposition or removal of more than 100 cubic yards.
So we actually created for each type of activity, minor, intermediate, or significant, some criteria in which to measure the activity against to determine how significant is it. That was the intent there.
So Gary, are you asking a specific question of the commission at this point?
So I'm suggesting.
Or suggesting, okay, just restate it.
I'm suggesting that in section 12, that you would authorize the agent to make a determination on applications, whether or not a minor applications for minor regulated activities. Otherwise, they would all have to come before the agent.
I think that's a good idea.
How about a dollar amount? Would that make
No,
a dollar amount, like for the cost of what somebody's doing, like the deck, for an example? I mean, it's going to be probably less than $1,200.
It might be. We'll collect the building permit fee. It's $10 per thousand of estimated construction value. So probably shows $5,000 worth of work, $50 permit minimum. So it probably comes in at $50 plus 26 cents per thousand on the state fee.
Could we use the criteria in the construction permit to? Could we use the criteria in the construction permit to kind of to cue us whether something is minor or not? And what I mean by that is, let's say the construction permit says whether you're hiring a contractor or not, right? If you're hiring a contractor over X dollar amount, then you would go to you for determination, as an example, or you.
I wouldn't use that as a criteria to see whether or not you need a determination of the permit.
No.
Absolutely. There's no overlap, create confusion. Just because I paid more to my contractor doesn't mean that the activity is impactful any more than it would be. So if I can pay my contractor $500 an hour, is that good?
Yeah, that's a good point. You could have minor work done by a contractor.
Yes, so what I like about the minor right now, it basically is 100 cubic yards. So if it involves deposition or removal of more than 100 cubic yards, then it falls outside the minor. If it's within that, it's minor. So if it's that really is the small projects that we're talking about.
Correct.
And that would be for Gary's determination if it would require a permit or not. Anything larger than that then would have to start coming to us for our determination. No, I think yeah. So because our next wetlands meeting would, go ahead.
Well, I will note that under intermediate regulated activities, locating any waste disposal system or any portion thereof, including without limitation curtain drains, berms, and fill within regulated areas. So there's a lot of that I've approved in the past as part of administrative permits. I'm going to have to send to this commission. So know that there'll be some additional work in having that. I figured that was kind of important. I've seen this work in other communities where we're looking at, effluent, particularly nitrogen loading.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's there.
And that currently requires a permit?
That would fall under intermediate regulated activity.
Right, but I mean for your process now.
For that process now, let's say if it's in the upland review
It's
area,
administratively
still require a
approved?
permit.
Yeah.
I've just been
Yep.
able to issue it in the
Yep.
past.
Okay.
So it's still not solving maybe the whole problem per say that the resident may get, but it's only partial flooding. So I may not be
So-
able to issue permits for a home, even if the home's 301 feet.
Well,
The septic system within 300.
and I think maybe for this situation, we consider adding verbiage to say instead of within regulated areas, to say within 100 feet upland review area? Or does that complicate things that we have two different,
No, that would be specific to just waste disposal.
just
system
that situation?
Within,
To say instead of fall within regulated areas, within 100 feet.
you should say any wetland or.
Yeah.
So that would at least say anything within 100 feet, because the commission, beyond that, I could at least.
Mhm. Yeah, because 297 feet. Right, yeah.
Where, yeah, and so 1B, no septic installation or activity requiring the deposition of water on the structural level, we're going to permit for that. So there is some thresholds there that kind of overlap.
Mhm.
That's important.
And not for anything, but if we go through and find these regulations which we hope are effective, if we find that they're not working, we can modify them again.
Correct.
So,
It just, we have to go through the whole.
yeah, public
Revision
hearing and,
process,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then-
I mean, I'm hoping we don't get there, but,
Having seen this version kind of work in other communities, I'm confident that it'll work out fairly well. We may have to make some modifications to them. Again, as time proceeds forward, we never know what will be faced. So, yeah, at any time, the commission can take the regulations.
okay. Do you think that would cover the concerns of at least the neighbors?
I think the bulk of the minor activity in town,
Mm-hmm,
general building stuff going
yeah.
and I think that would essentially take every larger development and put it in
Mm-hmm, okay.
So particularly things like, say, gas, which drive 13,000 square feet, because of the drainage and all of that, the way I interpret this, it would have to automatically
Mm-hmm,
based on the amount of material you
mm-hmm,
construct that basin, so.
yep, okay. Anybody else have any discussion points? So our next wetlands meeting, would that fall the week after July 4th? Because we think July 4th is a Wednesday or something? I don't really want to have the public hearing during a holiday time frame. That's my only concern. July 4th is, so our meeting would be the the 2nd.
Well, it would be.
Hmm. It's kind of a holiday week. Yeah, I know, no one's around.
Friday.
Didn't we, I thought we might have changed that.
That's what I said.
Yeah, second is what we got.
July 2nd.
That's what I have on my
August
calendar.
6th is the fall, so.
But we have the site walk July 6th.
I think it's
So I think we intended to change that.
revised.
See if the site walk Saturday, July 6th, but the meeting July 2nd. So I think we might have intended to move that to the 9th.
So do you want to do that now?
Yeah, do you think that would be better?
Yeah, because it's a big vacation week, right?
Right. Especially with that falling on a Thursday.
So the 9th, we got the planning commission meeting on this room.
Oh. No, we can't have a public hearing in the conference room. Do you think we should have a public hearing in July or wait till August? Actually, I'm not even
Oh, gosh.
It makes no difference to me.
I won't either, actually. Or September.
I would prior to September.
Well, I'm not going to be here in August.
Well, if we can't do the 9th, 16th, Tuesdays are hard for the rest of the month.
Okay.
The 23rd, water sewers in here, or not the 3rd? It's free on the 16th.
I'm just looking at the.
Tuesday, July 16th.
Yeah, we can do the 16th.
Yeah, does that work for everybody, you think? July 16th, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that would be preferable to the July 4th week.
So we will schedule our meeting to July 16th.
Okay.
And we'll plan to, should I make these changes and then we'll.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Carry on the 16th?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have to have a motion though to change the meeting to July 16th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the changes are, could you repeat them?
So the changes would be adding in the native species.
No, the meeting dates.
Oh, in not meeting July 2nd, we're going to meet July 16th.
Okay. and
It's
the
still a
site walk?
Tuesday.
The s-
So the site walk, do you want to keep it on there for the 6th? Or should we change it to the Saturday before?
I'd probably move it to the 14th.
The 14th?
Just closer.
Yeah, okay. In case something comes up.
Or is that Sunday? Sorry, the 13th.
13th.
Yeah.
Does it look like there is a need for a sidewalk?
As of now, not unless I receive a new application,
Okay.
or if there are sites that maybe we want to take a look at, but as we move on, in our report, I think it's pretty thorough, so we can, well,
Okay.
so we probably just need a motion to cancel the July 2nd and July 7th.
To reschedule.
Sorry, July 6th.
Make a motion to cancel July 2nd meeting.
Second.
And then to have that meeting on July 16th.
Still second.
And the sidewalk on July 3rd.
And the sidewalk, of course, sorry, on July 13th.
Haven't changed my mind.
Len.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone? Okay. Okay, so then if we could have have the public hearing that day?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Perfect. All right, we ready to move on, everybody?
Oh, sure.
Chairman's report is next, and I don't have anything. So back to you, Gary. My wetlands agent report.
One of the things that I had heard,
Thank you.
Diane, said one of the hard things you have to follow up. So if there's miles back here, we can always do some follow-up.
Thank you.
A number of inspections are done.
Thanks.
Oh, they put you right to work, huh?
Wow.
This is great. Yeah, thanks.
So here's our report. Provided. I don't think that mic's working. So we can start with, I don't know what you have. We start with 9092 Laurelwood Drive, I think, or maybe. yeah,
June
no, no.
4th, one day in June 4th.
I'll just report on, I did not get a memo to you on the Sound and Cove Land LLC, the gateway erosion issue. I have a meeting this Thursday with them at 10 a.m., the property manager and owner, to discuss remediation. Miles and I were out this afternoon and further investigating the issue, and we were able to use some field maps and pick up points as to the extent of the erosion and the deposition into the wetland. So I have that on a map. I was able to overlay that on previous maps that we created that have their site plan on it. So we kind of I have the delineated wetland and where we were located. So we're going to put that together for Thursday to at least show them what we have, and then we'll be able to present it to the commission as well. And hopefully they'll be able to come back at our next meeting with a resolution and a fix to this issue. The good news is it doesn't extend extremely far into the wetland, but it's a good 20 feet, 30 feet in, and there's a lot of material. It's well vegetated right now. There's a lot of skunk cabbage and understory, so it's hard to navigate through the brush. I am concerned going in there at this time of the year with machines and or even hand tools. We'd be damaging more vegetation, but I think in the fall, after the leaves fall, you can get in there and you can start excavating, because I think they're going to have to. Even though the skunk cabbage has come through the material, this stuff is like 6-8 inches thick. So when you look at the soil profile, and we're looking at the top 18 to 22 inches that delineate our wetland, we're changing the soil characteristic. So I think there is remediation work that has to be done. So that's on the Sound and Cove, so there'll be more on that coming forward. 14 Park Lane. Sorry, that's new. Out there today. I noticed it was on our last agenda, although as I went through, I wanted to report that it looked like they had filled in an area at the end of their driveway adjacent to an existing stream. There's no report in there on this particular one. We have to write up the notice and get it to them. So that's happening. 8 Brookfield still remains unknown. I spoke to Norm Tebow from Killing the Engineering. I indicated that if there's going to be no further action on this for some time, if they can't make up their mind as to the footprint that they want, then the commission would be interested in seeing the area revegetated, or at least the installation of some canopy trees. So with that, he said, I was unaware of that. I said, well, we're losing the growing season. We're moving into summer, and so we have one more before the end of the year. And if they're not going to start construction, or you're not going to get a plan before the commission to get approved as the remediation, then you need to put something back.
Right.
So I think that kind of lit a fire underneath them to move forward and get things moving. So he is preparing. He did send me over a rough draft of a footprint. That was all I have to go back and check. So it's still in progress, albeit slow. So if there's no action before the next meeting, or certainly before September, I'd like to direct him to plant some shade trees. 9 Rocco Drive.
I indicated, I think at the last meeting, I would continue the enforcement action on there, so I went back out and redid a site investigation, took additional pictures of the landscape, and as I said, while it is, the slope is revegetated, I certainly think it warrants some trees, particularly shade trees over the pond if possible. So that's still in progress. And then in your packet there is 90-92 Laurel Hill Road. You'll see the before and afters and the dates. So starting in 2021, this was what the area looked like. At that time, there were no plans to do the work that took place in 2023. This was an area, you see the town vehicle there. That was just to address the, Victor and I were out there looking at the drainage pattern for the 2 lots to the north of this, in which Mr. Hale, we approved 2 homes and a retention basin on one of those lots, or I think there was 3 lots. So fast forward to April of 2023, you can see there's a small pad there, and then in 2024, this shed is erected. I did issue a permit for that shed. Again, not realizing the amount of clearing that was going to go on there with the vegetation, but you'll see as of today, the north-facing view from the intersection, the corner is fairly revegetated. I don't think they've cleared much vegetation from the corner, and that's all around our inlet to the catch basin. In the meantime, it looks like they, in response to the letter that I sent them, they went out and dug this trench. I call it a trench.
Yes, you think they dug that, or is that from water runoff?
It could be from water runoff. I mean, the water flows in that direction.
Yeah.
So my recommendation here is it looked like they went in and possibly maybe tried to scour it. I don't know. Improve the flow. I'm not exactly sure what they did there. But in terms of the swale, I don't think it works well as it's designed. I think if it was a little more shallow and wider, 4 to 6 feet wide, you'd be able to mow it and maintain it. And then when those 2 houses get built and that detention pond gets constructed, the overflow, and I think it was a 50-year storm, is going to travel down this water course, which comes out from underneath the fence. So hopefully the neighbor, I don't know what the water course looks like on the other side of the fence. I've never, since that fence has been up, I've never been able to see that portion of the stream. So I don't know what condition it's in, but it continues to flow. So I can't tell from this picture, it doesn't show any running water. We'll have to go back out. Maybe get a picture when there's light rain, just to see if there's bleed off onto the road. My primary concern was with the road initially, and obviously sediments moving into our catch basin, which we would have to routinely clean. So again, a water quality issue. So I think things are progressing. I can recommend to him to broaden that swale and establish, he needs more lawn, but I think because of that flow and it's getting inundated, it's just, the grass isn't growing there. So the seed mix is what would be helpful here, is to use a wetland wet mix or to use a geotextile fabric with seed in it that's designed for channels of heavier flow. They make it, it's great stuff, and it's just a little pricey. So I will advise him to install that and or some other option if he has to. So hire. I've recommended him several times to hire an engineer. That hasn't happened. I don't think you want to go through that expense. So with that, I will just direct him to approve this along with the guidance from town engineer.
It's kind of the case in point of a potential fine. I mean, this has been going on for so long, and now.
I don't know if in your packet, if you saw, but they did respond to the notice.
It was the next link down, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, it's just- so,
Or was that in here?
more than happy to read through it. So, I mean, it's here for your edification, you can certainly read it. There's apparently, I guess, some discrepancy between what I told him and what he interpreted versus what I'm telling him to do now. Obviously, I'm asking them to hire an engineer and correct the problem he claims has been existing for a long time. So he'd like to resolve the whole thing amicably by having the town officials take a look. So I went out and I looked, and well, I can't ascertain whether or not what work they've done is actually better than what was. Again, I'm not an engineer to determine that the drainage, but at doing what I have done for 20 years, I can say in current conditions there's still an erosion issue. So again, widen the swale and put in riprap, and or I would just recommend a fescue, which has got a deeper root system. It's going to hold and mowing it twice a year. Probably solve the problem.
So why don't you put that in writing and give him 60 days to do it? Because otherwise, this is just going to continue on, and then eventually it's going to be dropped, forgotten.
Yeah, that falls within the current growing season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the concern is obviously icing on the street, so it's a larger, we're not trying to pick on him, but there's a problem here that needs to be fixed.
The icing issue, again, he didn't cause that.
Mhm.
That condition has been there, so we just don't want to exacerbate.
Yeah.
All right, so that gives me some direction there. Thank you.
Okay.
And, 15 Spring Fest, and that's what we. They're going to get a notice violation for the area at the end of their driveway. Looks like they put a bunch of fill material and to extend the driveway. I'm getting that mixed up.
Yeah, so am I.
Something's wrong with this. So 14 Park Lane, this was at the end of Park Lane, adjacent to the Giants Next Beach Clubhouse. And that falls under coastal area management in particular. I did talk to Mr. Kowalski, and he and I had a conversation, and I believe that the activity over there is not impacting water course. That's the other side of the clubhouse. That said, Mr. Mulholland is pursuing it under camp, so there are enforcement action happening. And I think with the right jurisdiction. So with that,
Yeah, we probably don't need that here.
I'm going to take that off.
Okay.
That said, also due today was 249 Old Black Point Road. I don't know if you recall, but we approved a single-family dwelling, or reconstruction of a single-family dwelling, septic system, and it was a isolated pocket in the wetlands between the seawall and the existing home, which they had to work around. We went out there today, thought we'd find a wetland, and we found lawn. So it's all been lawn, and I have a feeling because the home changed hands to a new landowner, Dowlings, probably somehow just got filled in. So I will have to reach out to them, and they'll have to restore that wetland.
Mm-hmm.
What was that on?
249 Old Black Point Road.
Do you have pictures of the wetlands?
Today, what I took today, I haven't processed it yet. But
Oh, before it was filled in, I meant?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I believe I do from construction and during that entire time. Yeah, and they had orange construction fence around it to protect it. It was a big to-do from what I recall. And I do recall a former member wanted to, they also wanted to clear the phragmites that were along the seawall. The member wanted to go down and clear it himself. So yeah, it was very clear to me, there's a wetland there. They had to work around this thing and to show up. You see that it was filled in his lawn. You can even see kind of the outline of where the sod was placed.
Awesome.
So
Do you carry a camera with you when you go out all the
yeah,
time?
Do you know if they use that seed implanted fabric that you recommended earlier?
they sod.
Okay.
I'm just curious what they filled it in with. But that all came on the back of a complaint that came in Friday. Apparently there was a Mac back truck over there from the neighbor, videoed it. Not sure what they were doing. They had a big boom, what looks like used to, I guess, maybe pump a septic system, so it's possible they were doing that. I'm not sure, but the claim was they were taking material from 301 Old Black Point and bringing it over to 249. But I didn't see any evidence of any stockpiles or any material. It's pretty clean. Very manicured lawn, well groomed. Didn't even know there was a truck back there. There was no tire marks. So, perplexed.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we found the violation. Little Indian Pond on Atlantic Ave, there's nothing to update on that.
And then this one's not on there, the Oswegatchie Hills.
Yes, that was a permit that was issued. I issued a permit for that activity. And so it's something I'm monitoring.
Okay.
Take a look at it. That's all I have.
That's enough.
Does anyone have any questions for Gary? No. All right, on that note, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everybody.